Good morning, dear children of class 7, and I'm happy to welcome you all to today's zoology class. In our previous classes, what have we been studying? We are studying about the lesson called nervous system, right? So in this class, we are going to learn the continuation of the lesson nervous system, and the topic what we are going to learn in this class is organs of the nervous system. So what are we going to learn in today's class? Organs of the nervous system. What all organs are present in the nervous system we will be learning in today's class. So let's get started. So the organs of the nervous system are broadly classified into two, called the brain and the spinal cord. So what are the two organs of the nervous system? Mainly the central nervous system. You call this nervous system, no, it is called by the term central nervous system. So the two main organs of the nervous system are brain and the spinal cord, and these two organs are connected to other parts of your body with the help of nerves. So they are connected to other parts of your body through the nerves. Clear? So why nerves? Because suppose if your brain gives some instruction to your hand, how it will reach from the brain to your hand? It needs some connection, no? That connection is through the nerves of your body. The nerves starts from the brain and ends in your hand and other parts of the body, and so when your brain gives instruction, your hand will respond. If your brain says take that pen, then your hand takes that pen, and which gives instruction for that? Through the nerves only the messages are sent. We will be learning about this in detail in the next few classes. Clear? So just now know that the organs of the nervous system includes the brain and the spinal cord, and it is connected to various parts through nerves. Clear? Then first we will start with the structure of brain. So before that, the explanatory part of brain. How can you describe brain? Brain is a very delicate organ. You know, brain is an organ of your body, no? Just like your heart, lungs, kidney, all, brain is also an organ of your body. It is called as delicate organ. Delicate means a very fine and properly defined structure. Clear? It is a very fine structure, and it is made up of soft nervous tissue. See, this is the brain, and it is placed inside the skull. The bone in your head is the skull, right? So if you remove that skull, you can see the brain inside. Clear? It is a soft nervous tissue. What is a tissue? Tissues are a group of cells. Your body is made up of cells, no? Many cells together which have the same function is called the tissue. So all the nerve cells together form a nervous tissue. So the cells should be of the same type, no? So in the nervous system, what cells you have? Nerve cells you have, right? So all the nerve cells together is called by the word tissue, and that tissue is very soft, and already I told you it is delicate. It is a very fine structure which is highly defined. Though it is very soft and fine in nature, it is very complicated in structure and of high functional value too. Clear? So as I told you, it is covered by a skull which is a bony structure. Brain is covered by a skull which is a bony structure. It is like the bone, and this brain is covered by three membranes. See, here you have brain, and there are three membranes. Can you see three layers like this? 1, 2 and 3 layers or membranes you have, and these membranes are called by the word meninges. The membranes are called as meninges. So there are three membranes or meninges covering the brain, and in between each meninges or membrane a fluid is present, and that is called, here you will have fluid in between the membranes, clear, and that fluid is called cerebrospinal fluid. What is the name of the fluid which is present between the membranes? It is called as cerebrospinal fluid, clear. So what have we studied about brain? Brain is a very delicate organ. It is made up of soft tissues which are group of cells called nerve cells, and the brain is covered by a skull which is bony in nature, and also brain is covered by 3 membranes, and in between the membranes you have a fluid which is called as cerebrospinal fluid, clear. Then brain, actually see, now I have represented in 3 colors because brain actually can be differentiated into 3 parts. Brain is first of all called the control center of your body. Why it is called the control center of your body? Whatever instructions your brain gives only your body will do. The brain controls all parts of your body. The instructions given by the brain only will be carried out by the organs of your body. So it is called the control center of a human body or any other organism's body. Brain is the control center. This brain in human, it is divided into 3 parts. It is called cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. What are the 3 parts of the brain? Cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. See here, this largest portion, no, this is called the cerebrum. The one which is red in color is the cerebrum. This one is the cerebrum. The one which is blue in color, the second largest part, is called the cerebellum. So this is cerebrum, this is cerebellum and this is medulla oblongata. This purple color structure, no, this is medulla oblongata, clear. So cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata are the 3 parts of the brain. Now we learn in detail about each part. About cerebrum we will learn first, clear. So what is cerebrum? See, where is the cerebrum here? See here, I have not given actually any part of your body is, most of the parts of your body is actually colorless, and since there is blood circulation throughout your parts of your body, it appears like brown or red in color, but mostly the original color is being colorless or white in color, clear. So it doesn't appear like blue color, purple color, all you don't have for the brain. It is just of the skin color or almost it is actually colorless, clear. So here can you differentiate the 3 parts of the brain? Which is the cerebrum here? This is the cerebrum, right? This is the cerebrum. Can you see? This portion is the cerebrum. This is cerebrum. Which is cerebellum? This is cerebellum. And which is medulla oblongata? This is medulla oblongata. Clear? So about cerebrum we will learn first. As I told you already, cerebrum is the largest part of the brain because it is very much bigger in size. It is called the largest part of the brain and it appears like a walnut. Have you seen walnuts, a type of nut, right? So when you just look at the brain, it appears like a walnut. And what can you find on the surface of the cerebrum? It has wrinkles. What is a wrinkle? It is something like crushed nature, right? It is not smooth as the medulla oblongata. It has so many grooves and they are called wrinkles and ridges. It is not a smooth structure, but instead it has many grooves or it is uneven or irregular. No, it is wrinkled. It is not a smooth structure. And this wrinkles advantages, it increases the surface area. See, if you stretch this all, no, the surface area, which means the area of the cerebrum, will be larger in size because of the presence of the wrinkle. Suppose if you crush a paper and make it like a ball, it will be smaller in size, no. At the same time, if you stretch all the wrinkles, we will get a bigger sheet, no. Similarly, when you try to stretch this, it will be, the surface area will be larger. That is what is meant. The wrinkles or wrinkled structure will increase the surface area of the brain. Clear? And since its size is big and also the presence of wrinkles will provide a way to accommodate more neurons. What are these neurons? Neurons are nerve cells. The cells of your nervous system are called as nerve cells, no. So because of the large surface area, it can accommodate, which one? The cerebrum can accommodate many number of nerve cells or neurons. Clear? This is some of the basic structure of the cerebrum. What all we have studied? Cerebrum is the largest part among the three and it appears like a walnut. The outer surface has wrinkles and ridges. It is fully wrinkled, and because of the wrinkles, the surface area is largely increased, and this helps in the accommodation of more number of neurons. Clear? This is about some structure of cerebrum. Still you have some points. We'll continue on the next slide. Okay. Cerebrum, actually it is not a single structure. It can be divided into two. See here, can you see there is a division between hemispheres, the two parts of the cerebrum. There are two parts of the cerebrum. One is called right hemisphere and the next one is called left hemisphere. Okay, so this is right hemisphere and this is left hemisphere. Actually in biology, you have to imagine the structure from that part of the brain. Suppose if I stand like this and if I point out right, which one you will point out? You will call this as right, no? You will call this as right and this as left, but it is wrong. In any biology diagram, you have to mention this side as left and this side as right side. Why? Because the person who has this brain, will have this as his right side and this as his left side. Suppose if I have this brain, this will be my right side and this will be my left side. For you only, this is right and this is left, right? So always when an image is given, you have to mark the right side as left and the left side as right. Clear? So now, which is the right hemisphere? This is the right hemisphere and this is the left hemisphere of the cerebrum. It is separated by, it is divided, the right and the left region are divided by a groove, a longitudinal, it is called as a longitudinal fissure. What is it called? It is called longitudinal fissure. Where is the longitudinal fissure? Can you see a division between the two? This is called the longitudinal fission. Clear? And also, okay, if it is divided into two parts, how it is held together? There should be some connection between the two also, no? So the right hemisphere and left hemisphere are connected by a sheet of fiber. So what is it connected of? A sheet of fiber. The connection between the right hemisphere and left hemisphere is called sheet of fiber. This connects both the hemispheres as well as it transfers the information. Which information? So whatever messages are carried to the brain are transferred from the left to the right or from the right to the left with the help of sheet of fiber. Clear? So the cerebrum is divided into two parts called right hemisphere and left hemisphere, and both of them are divided by longitudinal fissure and both of them are connected by sheet of fiber. Clear? Then we learn about the functions of cerebrum. Each part of your brain has different functions. So the functions of, okay, before that, some more information about the structure. See the two hemispheres I told, no, the right and the left hemisphere. They are divided into two regions called outer cortex and inner medulla, which means the outer surface of the hemisphere, cerebral hemisphere, is called the cortex and the inner region is called the medulla. So, the outer cortex and inner medulla. Again, can you see two different shades of color? All these regions are darkly shaded. Can you see? These portions all are darkly shaded and this one is white in color, no? Because the cortex has something called as grey matter. The cortex is made up of grey matter and the grey matter has cell body. You have studied about the structure of neuron, no? Do you remember the structure of neuron? What have we studied? The structure of neuron has cell body, right? It has cell body and axons covered by myelin sheath. Do you remember? And it ends in synaptic bulbs. So, this is the structure of neuron, right? So, here this cortex region, the cortex region is made up of cell body and the medulla region is made up of axons. Where is the axon here? This is the axon, right? So, the medulla is made up of axons and the cortex is made up of cell bodies. And one more thing is, so where is the cortex? This is the outer region is the cortex and inner region is the medulla. The cortex region is made up of a substance called as grey matter, which is grey in color, and the inner medulla region is made up of a white color material and it is called as white matter. Clear? So, what have we studied? The structure, the detailed structure of cerebral hemisphere we have studied here. It is made up of two regions. The outer region is called cortex and the inner region is called medulla, and the outer region is made up of grey matter and the medulla region is made up of white matter, and the outer region, the cortex region, is made up of cell body of the neuron, and the inner region is made up of the axons of the neuron. Okay, so next slide we learn the functions of cerebrum. Okay, what are the functions of cerebrum? The main function of cerebrum is it controls voluntary actions. What is voluntary action? Whatever action is under your control is called voluntary action. Suppose if I want to walk, I can walk about, right? If I want to run, I will run. So, it is under my control. I will decide and do whatever I want. But some actions are involuntary. What are involuntary actions? Like winking of the eye. Even if I plan not to wink my eye, after a few minutes or few seconds itself I wink my eye, right? Similarly, the heartbeat is involuntary. I cannot bring under my control, no, I cannot instruct my heart when to beat and when not to beat, right? It is all involuntary action. Blood circulation, again it is involuntary action. These are all out of my control, but the actions which I control are called voluntary actions, and this is under the control of the part of your brain called as cerebrum. So, cerebrum is the one which controls the voluntary actions whatever you perform, and the intelligence, no, it is controlled by the cerebrum. We have learnt about the grooves in the brain, no, in the parts of the cerebrum. I told you there are many grooves or ridges, no, on the uneven irregular surface. So, it is considered that people with many grooves in their brain are more intelligent. It is that way. So, another function is it is responsible for the intelligence and memory and reasoning. Your memory is also controlled by which part of your brain? By the cerebrum. And problem solving skills and emotions are also controlled. These all you have to memorize, clear? So, for all the three parts of the brain you have different functions and you have to learn, because frequently in exam point of view it is important. Even in your competitive exams after you finish your schools also, which part controls which function, like that all you will get questions about brain. So, learn them, better memorize them, the list of the functions, clear? So, emotions of you are also controlled by cerebrum. and perception of sensory impulses. What is sensory impulses? You have studied already about the three types of neurons, no? Sensory neurons, motor neurons and interneurons. So these sensory neurons are connected from the sense organs of your body to the brain, no? So they receive, which part of the brain actually receives the sensory impulses? The cerebrum of the brain only receives the impulses sent by the sensory neurons. Clear? So what have we studied about the functions of cerebrum? The cerebrum is responsible for all voluntary actions of your body and intelligence, memory, problem solving skills, emotions, perception, that is they receive the sensory impulses. These are the functions of cerebrum. Next we learn about cerebellum. Which is cerebellum? The second part of your brain is called cerebellum, right? So this cerebellum, where can you see cerebellum in this picture? Again I have given you a color image to differentiate the parts. Okay, so this structure together is called the cerebellum. Here you can see the cerebellum divided into two regions. Can you see? Can you see this cerebellum divided into two regions? Just like the cerebrum which had two hemispheres, cerebellum also has two regions and one extra green color structure which is called pons. Okay. So cerebellum is divided into two parts and there is one green structure called as pons. And about the size of cerebellum, so when you compare to the size of the cerebrum, this is cerebrum, right? So when you compare to the size of the cerebellum is smaller in size and they are located in the back of your head. So where can you find cerebellum in your head? At the back region of the head you can find the cerebellum. And as I told you already, there are two cerebellar hemispheres. For cerebrum also you studied that it has two hemispheres, no? What are they? Right hemisphere and left hemisphere, right? Similarly for cerebellum also there are two hemispheres called right cerebellar hemisphere and left cerebellar hemispheres. And there is one more structure called as pons. Can you see a green color structure here? This is called pons, which is also an organ of the which is also a part of the region called cerebellum. Clear? So what is the role of the pons? The pons sends the impulses between the hemispheres. There are two hemispheres, no? It is a connecting agent for sending the impulses, that is the messages between the two hemispheres. So this is about cerebellum. What have we studied? Cerebellum is smaller in size when compared to the cerebrum and it is located in the back of the head. There are two cerebellar hemispheres which are connected by a structure called as pons, and the pons is the one which is responsible for sending the impulses or for transmitting the impulses between the two hemispheres. So finally we learn about the functions of cerebellum. What cerebellum does? It controls your body balance. You walk steadily, no? After you cross that baby stage, you begin to walk steadily because of this part of the brain, that is cerebellum. It controls your muscles to coordinate. Coordinate means they all function together to make you stable, to keep you steady when you walk. So it coordinates the muscular activity and maintains body balance. Only when your muscles are coordinated, you are able to walk in a steady way. What about drunken people? It is affected by alcohol. People who drink, no, will be affected. Which one will be affected? The cerebellum of their brain will be affected. So since cerebellum is responsible to control your body balance, when a person consumes alcohol, he cannot walk steadily. There is imbalance. He loses his coordination and balance when he drinks. This is about the function of cerebellum. The main function of cerebellum is coordination in muscles to maintain your body balance. Exception when people consume alcohol, cerebellum is affected and they lose their body balance. For your homework, you are going to read page number 100 and 101. So read your daily lessons and learn so that it is easy for you for your exams. So that is all for today's class. Until I meet you in one more class, you all take care and bye bye.